everyone, I am Samantha Mowat. I'm a clairvoyant psychic and a contactee, and welcome to my reading room. This is one of my favorite places in the entire world because it has such a calming energy to it. When you're looking at doing things like divination of any form, you're going to want to do it in a very clear space, so a space that does not have a lot of strong energetic debris in it. Out of all the places in the world, this is the place that I clear the most frequently, not only due to the nature of my work, which is clairvoyant readings, but also because of the healing and the teaching that I do. A lot of the people that come to me have a lot of energy that is released, and because their energy is released, it's very important for me, the person who's channeling with their guides, who's talking to the beings, to be able to take that information and all that energy to give it to my client and then to release it when we're done. And so today is part of my intention to assist you in working on your connection to your angels and your connection to your guides. And it's a lot of fun. I know that a lot of you look at things like clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairsentience and you're like, yes, I'm so excited, oh my goodness, let me do this. But then you start doing it and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm doing it, I don't know if it's correct, what's going on, am I doing this? And so that's one thing I've noticed with the psychic development groups that I host. A lot of people when they first come in, they're so uncertain about what they're doing. And so it's good when you're doing psychic development to do some of the other modalities first, just to give people the confirmation of what they're looking for. So when I'm talking about the confirmation they're looking for is things that'll teach them how to really connect in a way that shows them another entity, like angelic beings or spirit guides, or the ones who they're communicating with. And over the next few months, I'm hoping to do videos on everything from tarot cards to oracle cards to, yes, we're going to do pendulums tonight. I would like to get into scrying with you guys, in particular using crystal balls, because I do have them and they are absolutely wonderful. One thing that I've found is that when you're really incorporating these things into your divination, and in particular when you're first starting out with your divination, it can give you that sense of comfort. When I was first actually learning how to use tarot cards, which is several years ago now, I pretty much memorized one of Doreen Virtue's decks, and what's really funny is even today, I find that my guides will often, when they're talking to me, if I'm not able to get a strong message from them, like if they're using a message that I'm not quite understanding what they're intending to say, it's really funny to have in your third eye, the picture of one of your tarot cards showing up over and over and the words being highlighted. It's actually a really fun thing to do. And so I will be showing you guys later that tarot deck in particular, because I find it's a very easy, fun introductory tarot deck. Granted, now I've got probably 20 or 30 different decks that I love to use and play with and help some of my students really incorporate into their divination, into their learning how to connect with their guides, but we'll get into that part another time. Now, what I'd like for you to do is, if you have a pendulum, that's awesome, go get it, this is going to be a lot of fun. If you don't, that's okay, you might have a necklace. Luckily, today, I've got both. I have a pendulum, just a simple amethyst pendulum, one that actually belongs to my daughter, it's not even mine, which is kind of funny. And I'm also going to show you how to do the same thing using a necklace. Because for those of you who don't actually have pendulums, if you have a necklace that is more dangly, not necessarily one like pearls, or not necessarily one that has multiple points to it, but you see how this one that I'm wearing, it's very, very similar to a pendulum in a sense that it has just one point at the bottom. Very simple, very easy to use. I'll show you how to do it. Use a necklace as a form of pendulum as well, in case you don't have access to getting one. So before we get started, it's very important to do your energy protection. So let's all take a moment, and we're going to just get comfortable. And I want for you to close your eyes for a sec. And while your eyes are closed, see if any colors are coming up in your third eye, or even on the black part of your eyes. And the reason you're going to do this is you're going to be allowing for your aura to come forward. And because we haven't cleared our energy yet, we're going to notice that there's the energy of other people, their thoughts, their feelings, their emotional baggage, the stuff that we've encountered in our day-to-day life is going to be partially embedded in our aura between the last time we cleared and now. And so when I'm looking at my aura right now, I'm seeing that it has a little bit of yellow towards the outside. I'm seeing a very bright, almost like a lime green, and I'm also seeing a little bit of pink. And so that's telling me a few different things. It's telling me those different auric color meanings, and I'm looking at the size and shape of them. So now what we're going to do is you're going to have your feet flat on the floor. Put your hands down so that your arms aren't crossed, your hands aren't crossed. And you're going to take a moment. And you're quickly going to feel your energetic body, starting at your toes and working your way up. Feel your aura. You might notice places that have tension or discomfort, and that's okay. Just take note of it and allow for your consciousness to raise from your feet all the way up your body and over to the top of your head and back down again. Now, why you're doing this is before you actually get cleared, you want to get an idea about what your energetic field is feeling like, which is fantastic. For me, my energy felt pretty calm, pretty clear, but I've already cleared myself 3 times today to help get me back to that state. I didn't want to be all chaotic and hyper and having so much going on that I wouldn't give you a clear understanding of what we're talking about. So, next what you're going to do, now that you've felt your aura, is we're going to invite some angelic beings in. And the reason why we're going to invite in angels is when you're looking at divination in particular, you don't want to do divination with just anybody. If you're going to be doing things like mediumship and talking to the dead, then that's completely fine, but you're probably going to invite in higher vibrational beings first to ensure it's only the specific people that you're calling in, not some random person who died 300 years ago or 50 years ago who just so happens to be walking through the neighborhood, seeing your pillar of light, having this communication energy flowing outwards, and then being like, hey, let's go talk to this girl. You don't want that. Because if you do, you'll take your pendulum and you'll be asking it questions like, is this going to happen? And they'll be playing with you. They'll be sending you inconsistent information. And you don't want that. It's annoying for you, it's stressful, and it's just not fun. And so, in order to prevent that, what we end up doing, pretty much every psychic I know does it, is we put up energy protection. I've already put it up around my house quite a few times over the last couple of days, but we're going to do it again. I want you to picture this. I want you to picture white light coming down around you, like a spotlight, going all around you. And you're going to picture it coming down from the sky, going down over top of your body, going down from your feet, down to the floor. And you're going to picture it going all the way into the earth. Allow for that energy to flow inwards and downwards. And as you're doing that, we're going to ask the angelic beings to come forward. So you can say it either out loud or in your head. It really doesn't matter. Either way is fine, and there's no wrong way to do it. For the sake of this video, I'm going to do it out loud. So angels, please come to this room. I guess. And what you're going to do after that is we're going to ask them, angels, will you please surround this room and clear out any and all entities that are not serving my highest good. So this will allow for your spirit guides to stay in place. This will allow elementals that may be connected to your plants to stay in or connected to your crystals. But it's going to remove any of the beings that aren't necessarily having the highest vibration of all involved being in that space. So next what you're going to do is we're going to ask for our primary angelic being to step forward. So what I would say is, will my primary angel come forward, please? And they go. And now what you're going to do is we're going to tell them, I would like to communicate with you. I'm going to be using a pendulum. Will you please speak to me through the pendulum? And so I grab my pendulum, I put it flat on my palm, and just put in a nice little pile, put on one hand, put your other hand over it, and say, Angel, will you please clear the pendulum? Thank you. It is very important for you to be a clear vessel, and for any tools that you use to be clear as well. Because if they are not, and if you are not, that's going to be a problem. Because you'll have other energy permeating into yourself and to the tool, make it so the information you're getting is not as accurate as you would like it to be. And so now that the pendulum is cleared, I'm going to sit up closer so that you can hopefully see this better. And now I want to show you two things. I'm going to show you one very simple thing first of all. I'm going to try to stay as still as possible. Do you see how my hand is right? Oh, pardon me for a sec. My first arm is going to be outwards, and I have found, as someone who's ambidextrous, that does not matter if I use my left hand or my right hand to hold a pendulum. And I've asked a few people who only write with their right hand or just their left hand, and they have found that some prefer to have their dominant hand on the bottom, others prefer to have their dominant hand holding the pendulum, but it doesn't matter which way you do it. Choose whatever way works best for you, and maybe try it both ways to figure out which one you prefer. In my case, I'm going to put my left arm down, and I'm going to take my pendulum, and I'm going to put it between my fingers like this. Thank you. Now, I've just got it kind of like that. Very simple, very fun. And I'm going to just put my pendulum over top of my wrist. It's very important when you use a pendulum to try to stay as still as possible, because if I'm moving around, I'm now moving the pendulum. And so I'm sitting on my feet. You can probably just keep your feet flat on the ground. I just did this to be a little bit higher up. And do you see how I'm going to stay as still as possible? We're going to say, "Angel, please show me what yes looks like." And watch the pendulum. "Angel, will you please increase the movement so that they can see it's very clearly a yes?" So for me, a yes is the pendulum swinging up and down the length of my arm. For you, that may be different, and that's okay. You're just learning how your angel chooses to communicate with you through a few different words. Perfect, thank you. Please show me no. Please increase the size of the no. Do you see how for me, no is going back and forth across the wrist, like we're severing it? So to me that is very clearly a no. Thank you. Will you please show me what "it is uncertain" looks like? Wonderful. So "it is uncertain" is actually going in a diagonal. And because it's going in a diagonal, that means it's very different from a yes. It's actually going from my thumb going towards my chest. And Angel, will you please show me what goodbye looks like? Bigger, please. Bigger, please. Thank you. So for me, goodbye looks like the pendulum swinging in a circle. In this case, it just so happens to be clockwise, but it could be going counterclockwise. Angel, will you change the direction of the pendulum, please? 1 second. If you're not happy with the way things are moving, you're able to ask them to change it, which is important. So I've asked them to change the direction, and the reason I did that is because I want to feel the way the energy is moving. It's funny, now they're trying to go counterclockwise. I love them. But it doesn't matter if you're using the pendulum for that or not. As I talked about earlier, you can use a necklace and do the same thing. And so in this case, here's my necklace. And it's going to be a little more inconsistent than the pendulum, just because, oh, I should clear it. Thanks, angels. Angels, please clear the necklace. Thanks. And the reason it's going to be a little more inconsistent is it's on 2 chains and not 1. So let's see what yes looks like in this sense. Do you see how energetically the yes with the necklace moves more? It does have more of my energy embedded into it. Please show me the no. Oh, 1 sec, I'm trying to stay still. Please show me no. Please show me it is uncertain. Please show me goodbye. Thank you. It's really simple, isn't it? It's really quite a simple modality. Now, what I'd like for you to understand is if you're going to be using pendulums, it can be a lot of fun. It can be a very good way to deal with everything. But either have your phone on beside you and go to your voice recorder app and speak out loud the questions that you're asking and then verbally tell what the pendulum is doing with a yes, no, uncertain, whatever. Or have a pen and a paper and allow yourself to write down. But I feel as though that method can be a little more, I almost want to say, inconsistent, because it throws off your energy if you're holding the pendulum and you have to go write things down and putting the pendulum down, picking it back up and watching the pendulum and writing things down. So it doesn't really work as well, in my opinion, in that sense. Unless you're going to take a lot of time and heavily meditate upon the questions before you ask them, which could be a really good way to do it as well. When we're looking at pendulums, if you are a telekinetic, then a pendulum isn't going to be the right thing to use. So a telekinetic is someone who's able to use their mind to manipulate objects and have them move. So for those people, I strongly recommend maybe going to a different modality if they're trying to work on their divination, because you'll find, for instance, that's part of the reason why I don't like using pendulums for a lot of my stuff if it's questions regarding me, because I've found I will end up shifting the energy in such a way that the answers come out inconsistent. And so here, I'll show you what I mean. So when you're holding your pendulum, if I'm thinking of something that I really badly want to come true, but isn't going to come true, then sometimes your energy can actually throw off the result of the pendulum. For instance, let's say, one sec guys, what's a good one? Let's say I really want this new job, or I really wanted to date somebody, in which case my energy could be so focused on shifting that around. Don't say goodbye to me. No, stop it. Sorry, I was looking at the pendulum, it was going goodbye to type formation. It's just funny. But when I try to speak to my guides about stuff pertaining to me, they won't use a pendulum. And so some of you might find that you might find a different modality. But if you are someone who can use a pendulum, you could be energetically invested in the response, in having a strong, yes, this will happen, or no, that won't happen, and your energy could throw it off. So let's say I want to date somebody, in which case I'd be like, angels, is this going to happen? And my energy could be overpowering for the angels, in which case they would be trying to be like, no, and they'd be make it go to uncertain, because my energy would be pulling it back and forth, making it try to go to yes, even though they're saying, nope, Sam, we don't see that happening. Do you see what I mean? Because the uncertain going back and forth like this, and the yes being up and down like that, could be very similar in vibration. Same thing with the no to the uncertain. So if you're getting inconsistencies with the pendulum, it could be because you're so heavily invested in the outcome that it throws off your ability to read it. And so that's one thing I want for you to take into consideration as well. So that is probably the main aspect of pendulums that I'd really like for you to take into consideration. If you're really wanting to understand more about how pendulums work and how you can use them for your own divination and your own understanding, the only other thing I would really recommend doing is, if you're someone who's wanting to learn more about basic things, and let's say you're having a really hard time having your wrist staying like that because you've damaged your wrist, or you've thrown off, your energy is throwing it off, that you find it easier to just use the pendulum up and down, then you are able to take a piece of paper, and you could always divide it into 4 sections with like yes, no, goodbye, it's uncertain. And that's probably one of the easiest ways you could do it if you don't want to have your arm like that, or you're not capable of having your arm like that. But for those of you who are starseeds, and those of you who are really wanting to understand more about your soul and about part of your soul's heritage off of this planet, you are able to get something that I really recommend doing. One of my favorite starseeds in the world, a woman named Misha Johnston, she's out in the public and she's talking about the galactic families that we have. And so I found it really interesting because I went to this really wonderful UFO conference earlier this year in March, and it was absolutely amazing. It was UFO MegaCon, and for those of you who are into that type of thing, oh my goodness, you've got to go check out these UFO conferences. They're so much fun. But she had this chart, and I just, as soon as I saw it, I had to buy it because I got so excited, because this is actually the chart that she had. It's actually a galactic starseed chart. It helps you to know more about your galactic family and about all the different origins, and it is just absolutely amazing. I have so many good things to say about this. I've found that when I'm talking to some of the beings that who have like a new energy, and I'm trying to understand like, who the heck are you? Who is this new energy? Who's this new being coming forward? Whether it's in my astral projections or my physical encounters, or even when I'm seeing down and channeling, having beings come forward, sometimes they don't necessarily use the same kind of names we do. And so you can ask the angelic beings to work through you to give you a clear idea of who it is that is coming forward. Because you have to remember, all these different beings have different energetic vibrations and different signatures. And so I would like to show you how to use this chart. And it's a lot of fun. Oh my goodness. So here's what we're going to do. We have Misha's absolutely amazing Starseed Galactic Genealogy chart with the Arcturians, Alpha Centaurians, Mintaka Orions, Bellatrix Orions, Fomalhaut, pardon me, I said that wrong, Lyrans, Lyran Felines, Agarthians, Apollonians, Carians, Eargans, Venetians, Procyon, Andromedans, Alpha Draconians, Tausetians, Anunnaki, Martian, Pleiadian, Syrian, Mantis, Zeta Reticuli, Reptid, and Hybrid. Oh my goodness, how amazing is this? Her website is www.starseedawakening.org, and I love the amazing Starseed Assistant products she has. She has an amazing deck that goes along with it as well. So for example, you're able to take your pendulum and put it over top of the circular heart, and you're able to invite in your higher self and say, "Higher self, what type of being am I?" Oh, pardon me. And while you're holding your pendulum, you might have different things coming up. For instance, when you're standing over top of the chart, you may end up seeing it going in one direction or the other. Oops, I'm not doing a good job of staying still, so please bear with me. Let's try it now. Angels, what type of being am I? And then you're going to want to notice where it's going. So right away it does go towards Pleiadian, which I already know that's part of my soul family. But you can also say, "Angels, what other type of being am I? Where else have I lived in the universe?" And then you'll notice the pendulum slow down, and you're going to bring it back to the heart. And then you're going to see it move. Interesting. So it looks like it's going to Procyon. Very cool. And then you can also ask it, where else have I lived? Or what beings are working through me? Who's abducting me lately? Things like that. Those are all wonderful things that you're able to ask. I've done this with a few of my family members. It's been a lot of fun to really do that with them. So for those of you who want to get this chart, oh my goodness, I really recommend it. I completely love this product. I think that Misha's done an amazing job with it, and oh my goodness, I have nothing but good things to say about it. But I'm going to let you go. I need to go get some stuff done before I go to bed, but honestly, it was really nice talking to you, and I hope it gives you a better idea about pendulums and how you can use them. I do want to finish on one quick note though. I want for you to take a moment when you're done and just close your eyes and say, "Thank you, angels," and thank them for the work they're doing, because they're helping you in so many ways, and just by giving them that little bit of gratitude, oh my goodness, it goes a long way. Well, I hope you have an amazing night. Peace, love, and light. Bye.